Alright, fantastic. Hello everybody. I am Nightbarrel. This is Jet Moto, and let's go ahead and get started here. So, let me just grab all this. And I will be ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so again, this is Jet Moto, originally released for the PlayStation back in 1996. And let me just go ahead and, before we get started here, let's try and get past everybody here. Do a little boost from the AI right here. So some basics for this game: you get 4 turbos per lap. And what we also have here is this grapple system, and which we can latch onto these pink poles that are scattered throughout the track. This allows us to make some of the more tighter turns more manageable and without losing much speed. So just most of these tracks have these grapple poles that we'll be using. So for Joyride in particular, I suppose the main challenge of this is the wave riding in this. This is one of 2 tracks that features waves on there, I guess. And what you need to know about is how to ride them effectively so you don't lose much speed. Basically what I do is just like I hit the initial wave at like a neutral stance, I guess, and then just push down on the bike and have the nose just ride out the rest of the waves. So it just basically runs them over, and you know, you won't lose that much speed in that case. Otherwise, you're just going to be like hopping over them and then just like lose a bit of speed each time you hit the wave as well. And all these waves are on a global timer, so you should know the positioning of these waves as you come to them. Although not much to say about this track, just a little bit of information about this game. This was, again, released in 1996. This was in development, this was developed by Single Track, who you may know that they developed the Twisted Metal series as well. And this game and Twisted Metal 2 was developed around the same time, so some of the audio is actually kind of shared between the 2 games as well. More notably, 2 of the songs in the soundtrack, and I think a couple or so sound effects as well. This second turn right here is actually the most tricky of the turns, because the wave positioning, it's like you hit the wave head on, but then you're turning at the same time. It's much better to hit the wave as you're turning, because doing a grapple turn while in the air is much more quicker than just doing it on the ground normally, as we'll see in the later tracks as well. But other than that, Joyride is just pretty basic. It's a nice beginner track to get used to the controls, and learning how to control your bike is obviously the utmost importance here. As a 3 to 5, that's actually not bad at all. So now we're gonna actually come to one of the more technically demanding tracks in the game, Cliff Diver. This is because of the switchbacks. The switchbacks aren't really flat in this case, they're actually really hilly. So I'll try and sneak past everybody on here. So as we come up here, you're gonna see like just a glimpse of one of the techniques that I use in this game, called hill grabbing, and I'll be explaining that later in the alpine stages that are coming up here. But the switchbacks is the most difficult part of the track. You just have to use sharp turns. Ooh, got a bit of air on that. Ooh, that's not bad. That's not good, actually. That's not good. what I'm trying to say. But the switchbacks, you just have to place your bike upright throughout most of it so that you can turn with the grapple more effectively and just not lose control of your bike in general. So, we'll try that again soon. And then we'll also be seeing... Actually, I already explained that. Never mind. Yeah, I said that. So we're just going to do some sharp turning and then just a tad of grapple. We don't want to do too much of that. And then the bike will just naturally go up on its own. And there we go. That's how that shortcut is supposed to do. And then we're going to do a little bit of hill grabbing. Try not to brush up against the walls. Because if the body itself hits the invisible walls that are just above the actual physical walls, then the rider will actually fall off the bike. Because, you know, the body is tender like that. And if you do happen to if the bike happens to like lean over on its side, then you can just roll to get it upright again, as I have to do here. And for that big jump right there, you just have to position yourself correctly. There's like a bit of a tell of where to position yourself. It just takes some getting used to, I guess. Okay, so coming up is a little course design more unique to the Jet Moto series. It's called the Suicide Track. And what this is basically you race from point A to point B, and then 180 back to point A, and then race on over to point C, and then 180 back to point A. That's a lap in the Suicide Track. And what makes this more exciting is that once you make the suicide turn, you're going to be facing against everybody else in the field. And, you know, that just shows that even though you're in first place, you're still always in danger of crashing. Like so. But Hammerhead is actually the easiest course, the suicide course in the game, I should say. Mainly because everybody else is taking the higher bridge route. Like you see there. I shouldn't have turboed there. I don't know what I was thinking. But everybody else is taking the highway route while we're taking the faster, lower water route. So we will barely see anybody on this track, this race. And again, knowing how to use the grapple effectively along with sharp turning, it'll make these suicide turns a little bit more manageable. There we go. That was okay. I had positioned myself on the highway bit for an easy turbo, but what can you do? So now those are the island stages, and now we're going to shift over into the swamp stages, which gets a little bit more difficult only because of all the trees and stumps that are scattered throughout the tracks. And we're actually going to be starting with one of the more harder ones, Cypress Run. And Cypress Run, it's pretty much flat in general. It's just so many obstacles in the way that unless you find like a good route, it gets kind of out of control really quick. But we can just easily go on the inside right here, and then make our way through here, turbo out, and just make our way across all these trees. And now coming up here is the most difficult part of the track, is the serpentine cut. It's a few switchbacks, and here we're just not going to use the turbo. We're actually going to sharp turn and then brake at the appropriate time. I found myself a little buffer. I start sharp turning about 1.5 sign lengths from the turn, so that I can start turning and then brake whenever I hit the corner of the turn, or the apex, I think. That's pretty much it. The turbos, this is actually one of my favorite tracks in the game, though, because the turbos here can last a long while. Because when you turbo, you can maintain the turbo speed as long as you're not like obstructed in any way, either like braking or hitting walls or obstacles like that. So, but sometimes for some reason you just slow down back to your regular max speed for no reason, even though I do like constant adjusting. Like I turn a bit at times just to position myself correctly, and that sometimes causes my speed to go down for almost seemingly no reason, even though I'm still racing on like a flat surface. It gets weird like that. Like so, I'm almost back down to 100 because I was like, I don't know what happened there. There may be some hidden polygons that I'm hitting that may have affected it. But so far this has been a pretty good Cypress run. Nothing too major that's slowing me down. Oop. Almost messed it up there. Almost didn't turn in time. And there we go. That was relatively clean. As long as we kept this under 3 minutes, that would have been okay. Alright, so up next is Blackwater Falls. It's not really technically demanding. There are like I said, this is just a green circle track, but the hardest part is just trying to get past everybody, because there are 19 other racers on this narrow dirt track, and I was lucky to get past everyone as soon as I did. I was really lucky. But again, this is just to show the basics, knowing how your bike controls. I can't believe I got that jump from that log. You can sometimes go over the log without getting some air, and shortcut right there. You can run over the log without getting any air, but if you hit it at the right spot, you'll still get lifted up. Oh, and I didn't use the turbo there. I was busy talking. Okay, so we're gonna have to adjust from there. I guess we're gonna use a turbo here. I normally don't have to do this, but looks like it's necessary. And for the dirt trail, again, you have to utilize your sharp turns and your rolls to keep your bike upright. Otherwise, your bike is just going to flip over and your rudder will just fall out. There we go. And now for the second and third laps for this shortcut, you got to be careful not to let the body hit the walls, because again, they're gonna fall off, and it'll be bad times all around. There we go. I was supposed to use the second turbo right here. Yeah, this game is just all about bike control and managing your turbos effectively. Even on master difficulty, it just seems like the AI is just completely unfair, but as long as you manage your turbos effectively, then it becomes a lot easier overall. I mean, there are still times where the AI are just so sturdy. They don't fall off on their own, pretty much. You just have to force their hand a bit in order to get past them. On master difficulty, at least. These easier difficulties, which I'm running it on, you don't have to do much at all. It's just kind of nice. We could just focus on racing and going fast. 226. That's about average, I guess. So now we're going to head on to the most difficult suicide track in the game. Even though this is a green circle track, it's a small track with 19 other racers on it. And of course there are trees and stumps everywhere. This could be bad. This is really bad. Yep, there we go. You can just see me flying off there. Alright, so I'm gonna have to focus a bit to try and get back on track here. I didn't know where I was going. This could be really bad. This is off my rhythm right now. Okay. Okay, so the timing for these other racers are going to be off a bit. And this could be interesting. But we'll see where this goes. Oh man, I did not expect that. Okay. Yeah, for that ramp on that suicide turn, you don't want to get too much air off of that. I just barely got that turbo off in time, and I just ran into someone. So there you go. That's the suicide track for you. You are never safe. Let's bring it back here. Okay, this should be good. Don't want to hit the ramps though. Don't want to hit anything. Okay. So obviously that could have been a lot better. But we managed to get out of there in one piece. Kinda. So now we're going to head on over to the Alpine stages, and we're going to be starting with Willpower. Willpower, well, first of all, it's the longest track in the game. It gets pretty technical at times, and starting from here, we're going to see prominent use of the hill grabbing method, or zigzagging, as I alternate between the terms like a lot. So, just gonna take the inside here, because the outside, for some reason, it slows you down a lot, where if you go on it too long, it'll just make you come to a complete stop, or it just stops you abruptly that you just fall off the bike. But luckily that's only on the outside part of the track and not on the inside. So, right here, you're gonna see me using the bike's side to actually hold onto the ground as I'm like making my way downhill. And to explain what hill grabbing is that, again, I use the side of the bike which means how do I explain this? I use the rolls to get onto the side, and then I use the sharp turn so that the nose of the bike can allow me to stay on the ground, because even if you're hill grabbing, there's still a chance that your bike will just lift off the ground. So putting your nose down will help out in keeping yourself on the ground, and allows you to gain like a bit of speed as you're going downhill as well. And the use of these zigzagging method, it helped out in reducing the time on ILs by a lot. Like for this track, we just like struggled to get under a 4-minute 30-second time. Now it's not impossible to get like less than a 4:20 on this track, like easy. Alright, so use of zigzagging right here. And the use of zigzagging can be used on all types of bikes. Like some of the lighter bikes can do it more easily, but the heavier bikes, you just have to try and muscle your way for them to sharp turn down, because that's the harder part, is for them to stick to the ground by sharp turning. Oh, I did not roll enough on that. And I guess I should explain my bike choice. For those of you familiar with this game, you might think that Technician or the Max, which has a higher acceleration and control, would be the better bikes. But for me, at least, Wild Ride and Gunner, which basically share the same stats for their bikes, they're actually better. It's because of... Sure, they have a slightly lower acceleration, but the lesser handling actually makes it worthwhile, because when you turn regularly with either the Technician or the Max, at least for me, you tend to slow down a lot when turning normally. Whereas with Gunner or Wild Ride, you basically maintain your speed while turning. You just lose like a little bit of speed if you like turn too much, but it's basically perfect for me, and you know, it's just a better overall bike in general. Okay, gonna set up for this hill grab. There we go. Nothing much else to say about this track. Then you'll see right here that air grapples are a lot easier to do than just grappling on the ground. And the soundtrack to this game is really good. I suggest you give it a listen whenever you have the chance, because this next track has my favorite song in the entire game, Ice Crusher, which you may have heard a little bit during the last part of Willpower, but you're gonna hear it in its entirety here. Okay, so Ice Crusher, it's one of the more difficult tracks in this game, mainly because of trying to get past everybody here. I'm going to be making my move here. Try not to squander it too much. Oh, I got knocked down, so that was actually pretty good. I wasn't in the air as much. Okay, so we're good. And so Ice Crusher, you don't want to be putting your nose down too much, even though it still helps with maintaining your speed. I still press my nose down, but you got to be careful to not let the nose hit like some of the ice in the crevices in the ice, because they tend to get you out of nowhere with that. Turbo out here. That was actually pretty clean, so we should be good the rest of the way. Now, upcoming here, I'm going to do a little hill grab right here. Allows me to latch onto that edge, and that saves about like 2 or 3 seconds while you're not hanging in the air from that little jump right there. Oh, okay. I turned a little too much. So if you fall off the track, unfortunately, you have to go all the way back to the last checkpoint that you went to, which is pretty bad. But at least they fixed that in Jet Moto 2, where they have like specific spawn points, just in case if you fall off the track or crash. I mean, if you crash in this game, if you crash on the track, and they spawn you like the exact position where the bike is. And that could be good or bad, depending on where you're at. Like for example, in the swamp stages, if you like run head-on into a tree and crash there, they will spawn you like directly behind the tree that you just crashed into, and you could just accelerate and just bonk against the tree, and your rider will fall off again, which will get kind of frustrating at times if you're not expecting it. And that woman's scream that you heard when she fell off, that's actually the same sound used in Twisted Metal 2 as one of the women in the game. If you destroy their car, that's the exact same scream, pretty much. And as I mentioned before, some of the music in the game are shared between this game and Twisted Metal 2. Like the song that you're hearing right now, this is a song for Snowblind. It's actually the Hollywood stage in Twisted Metal 2 as well. And the song for Suicide Swamp, that is the same song used in the Holland stage in Twisted Metal 2 as well. So, little fun fact for you. Ooh, almost messed that up. So that could have gone a lot better, but that's okay. Mountain Dew, it's the nectar of the gods, pretty much. That's why I play as Ronald Wright. It's because of Mountain Dew. Alright, for Snowblind, it's the last suicide track in the game. And we're going to be doing some more hill grabbing right here. And for this first part, for this first half, we're going to be doing a little tunnel diving right here. I'm going to let go of the accelerator a bit, because if we don't, we're going to be going too fast and we're going to bonk our heads on top of the tunnel. And that's no good. Alright, I think we're good here. It's like if we do like a perfect tunnel dive, we'll be able to land basically on top of the hill inside the tunnel, so that we don't have to like go over it as much. Okay, so for this next jump right here, we're gonna turbo here. Oh, we got too far to the right. Yeah, we're just gonna crash there. Basically, we turbo so that we get almost to the top of that hill that I just passed, so that we don't have to climb it as much as we do. We're gonna turbo right here for the same reason. Yeah, we just barely made that. We don't want to go too far to the left, because if we hit the invisible wall that's there, then it'll automatically count as a fall off the track, and we have to go back all the way to the checkpoint at the suicide turn. And that alone wastes about like 10 seconds or so. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. Well, that was pretty decent. Alright, that was pretty good right there. Alright. We don't really want to be using a turbo here during the 270 turn. You get a good amount of speed just by riding the inside corner anyway, so it's best to save the turbos for places where you're gonna need a lot of speed the most. Just is right there. Alright, that should be good. This will be the second to last spot where we see everyone. Like in the easier difficulties, you see like all 19 other racers just like huddled together like a herd of AI just traveling from one place to another. It's kind of weird. But in the more difficult difficulties, I guess, they tend to spread out a bit more. And yeah, that was really good. Alright. Yeah, the AI tend to spread out a lot more on these suicide tracks and the later difficulties. So it gets a bit more dangerous because they like come out in spasms, like it's spats. I don't know how to describe that, but you see a lot of racers at different times. Is what I'm trying to get at. Okay, that was pretty good. As long as we didn't hit that invisible wall, that is all I can ask for. And a sub 4 minute, it's pretty good. I'll take it. Despite that one crash that I had. So now we're going to come up to the final track of the game, Nightmare. I have to say that the most difficult part about this is just trying to get past everybody. Once you get used to this track, it seems pretty daunting, but it's pretty easy, especially if you hill grab at certain points. So we just go to the right, get past everybody. Oh, I forgot to turbo, but that's okay. We'll turbo here. And we'll turbo out here. Almost messed that up, but we're going to make it up with some swag zag right here. Oh, that was pretty good. So, doing a hill grab on that part, not only do you not get any air from going up that hill, but you will get a lot of speed going downhill as well, since we're on a metal platform right here. And then that allows us to really get a huge amount of speed, especially going uphill like this part right here. Like, we're going uphill, but you can see me, well, hopefully we'll see that we'll actually gain a bit of speed before we shoot across the gap to the other side. And okay, so this part we're gonna have to position ourselves correctly. Otherwise, we will either hit the checkpoint or just fall off the track completely. So it kind of gets tricky to position yourself that way. Alright, more swag zag. It just looks so cool when you get it right. And the track design in Jet Moto, this is basically the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the track design in this series. Like in Jet Moto 2, the tracks get a lot more insane in its design, and it pushes the limits on what these bikes can do. It's like these are hover bikes that can go over land and water, but in Jet Moto 2, they can also treat these bikes as like mountain climbers, I guess. You can, oh, yeah, if you hit the left side of that wall, you just fall off. But luckily I hit that checkpoint as well. Alright. There we go. At least we got that swag zag down. At least we didn't fall off. Because I sometimes tend to like roll too much and then the body just like drags onto the platform. Or drags onto the track. And it's pretty funny, but you know, we don't want that. Okay, one more zigzag right here. Didn't get as much speed as I hoped, but that's okay. This has been Jet Moto. I hope you guys I hope you guys enjoyed this. And time will be coming up very shortly here. And time. There you go. That is Jet Moto. Just barely over 35 minutes, it looks like. That's okay. That tends to happen. So,